family. Family. What's poppin'? You guys hear me good? You guys are good? Everything's good? Tight. Man, oh man, oh man. I'm so grateful and happy that every person is on this call. You guys really have no idea how much it means to me to have literally the entire squad showing out every single week. Last week we had the Zoom call maxed out, 100 people. And that means so much that you guys just show out every single week. You guys are dedicated every single week to get your week off right on the right foot. You guys, literally everybody on this call, the epitome of no excuses. And that is legit the person we have up, the legend we have up to share some value for you guys. I look up to this guy a lot. I know a lot of people in the team really look up to Mike as a mentor, as a savage trader. I mean, he's got the name the wizard for a reason, right? But I look up to him on every single level, from the leadership side to the trading side to just being an all-around amazing person side. He's a man that doesn't need an introduction, right? Everybody knows. I get speechless just talking about it, man. Like, geez, you know what I mean? But Mago, my man, I put Chairman 25 in the flyer just to manifest it, put it into reality. I know it's right around the corner, my man. It's all yours, my man. The floor is all yours. You guys better have your notebooks ready and jot some stuff down. Let's go.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you, Cody. I love what you guys are doing. The energy is amazing. The content. Ooh, the content is crisp, professional. I love it. I love everything you guys are doing right now. Guys, I'm going to keep it short, right? I want to make sure we don't have to take too much of your time to deliver a very important message. I didn't even tell Cody what I was going to talk about. I actually didn't know what I was going to talk about until about 8 minutes ago. And then, but it hit me like a brick wall. It really did. I was thinking, because I only have till 7:30 because I have a Spanish go live to do. And so I was like, what kind of message can I deliver that'll be straight to the point and that will best embody, I think the best message that I can deliver. And for those of you that know me kind of on a more personal level and who've seen me work, I have had people describe me as relentless, right? Just relentless. Like, I just always am going and going and going and going. And so I want to kind of give you guys a bit of my perspective on how to be relentless, if that's something that you want to do, right? How to find rhythm, how to find repetition, how to tap in so that it's not that you're doing so much and you get tired. It's so that you're doing the right thing so that you can keep going. So what I'm going to talk about today is, guys, how to really do that, right? How to go from good to great to unstoppable, right? How you can push through those dynamics and how you can do it in a way that isn't entirely exhausting for you, but if anything, it keeps you going. Like, doing another one and another one actually almost adds on to the energy and allows you to keep pushing, and it becomes it's almost like free energy, right? It's almost like free energy that it's cycling itself. And that's one of the most amazing things about energy and purpose and intention, is that if it's done correctly, right, everything that you're giving, you get right back. And I think that's one of the subconscious hacks, if you will, that has happened throughout the last couple of years has been how is it that, like, we can just keep going and going and going, but it's because everything I'm doing is for my right reasons. I found what I enjoy doing, and I'm able to push and push and push, and it's not by force, it's by power, right? It's by power, not force. And that is one of the most important things that you need to understand, is that everything that you want to do has to be through power. Has to be through power that you access within yourself rather than by sheer force. And so here's the thing, guys. You keep pushing yourself harder when everyone else has had enough. How do you do that? How do you actually do that? Because the thing is, right, here everyone wants to become successful traders, successful leaders. People want to tap into having, whether it's sharing infinite resources, whether exposing people to different kinds of information, whether it's, guiding people to duplicate resources, whatever it might be for you, right? But how do you keep going? What will separate you from the majority? Not for the sake of being better than other people, but by seeing that this is why you're gaining more out of life. And so here's the thing that I want you guys to understand a common misconception, right? A common misconception. And the reality is this: those who talk don't know, and those who know don't talk, right? I want you to really, really think about that. Those who talk usually don't know, and those who know usually don't talk. And what I mean by talk is telling the world how great you are, right? Telling the world, everything that you're currently doing, all the money that you're making, how big your team is right now. It's not about the talk, right? It's about what you're applying, what you know and that you apply. And so what you're going to realize is that a lot of people get confused. And so some people see that the being physically fit as being elite, right? But here's the thing is that physical dominance, that can make you great. But mental dominance is what ultimately makes you unstoppable. Physical dominance, right, is going to be fantastic. Going to the gym, lifting, but once you're mentally dominant, that will push even the physical even further. So that's why, some people you see are doing Zoom trainings and then doing presentations and are doing launch calls and then are trading and then all of this. It's not because they don't get tired. Of course, people get tired naturally. It also has to do with obviously how you're fueling your body, et cetera, et cetera. But becoming mentally dominant, that's what will allow you to obliterate whatever illusions and barriers that you create, right? So the idea is becoming so mentally dominant that it actually seeps into the physical. And then this is the way that you can do all the things that you want to do, but you actually do them. So how do you push yourself, right? You do the work. Do the work. Before you can do the work, you have to plan the work, right? The reason we plan it is so that we can set ourselves up and be prepared to do it. A lot of times, the reason you don't do the things you want to do isn't because you don't want to. It's because you're not even mentally ready for it. You haven't even given yourself the opportunity to be ready for that moment. So you come into it and you're like, no, this is not going to happen right now. This is definitely not happening right now, right? So every day, this is an activity, right? Here's productivity, because I don't want you to just listen to me. I want you to use some of this information and then go do it, okay? So every day, you have to do something you don't want to do. Every day. This is an objective, right? Write it on your whiteboard, right? Write it on your notebook. Put an alarm. Set an alarm for yourself. Noon, right? Every day, you have to do something you don't want to do. This is sharpening the mental knife, right? This is sharpening your mental strength. Is every day you do something that you don't want to. As soon as you get that feeling, right? Habit share. I don't know what that is, but as soon as you get that feeling, is that an app? You can just drop that in the chat. But every day, guys, challenge yourself to be uncomfortable. And you hear this all the time, right? You hear this all the time. Success is almost in what you do in the uncomfortable. And so challenge yourself to be uncomfortable. Push past the apathy, the laziness, the fear, push past it. Because here's the thing is the reality is this mental fortitude that you develop is not through a one-time activity. It's not through a one-time decision. This is through the practice, right? It's through repetition. With the repetition will come the flow, it'll be easier to do it. It'll be easier to just break through every time. So what happens is this: every day challenge yourself to be uncomfortable, right? Otherwise, here's what happens. The next day, you're going to have to do two things you don't want to do. Ooh, right? If you don't do today the thing that you know you have to do, but you don't want to do, tomorrow, now there's two. Tomorrow, now there's two things that you don't want to do that you have to do. And then what happens? Then there's three, then there's four, then there's five. And then you can't even get back to the first thing that you wanted to do or that you had to do, but you didn't want to do. So you see how you start collecting a debt, right? You start collecting a bullshit debt. It's your bullshit debt, right? And so over time, it's going to get a bit more difficult to get out of that debt. So for all the time that we spend working on our careers, your talents, you're going to school, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Making money, it's ultimately your mental focus and concentration, your ability to control your environment, and the heartbeat of others that determines whether you succeed or fail. All right. So here's the thing, right? The idea is how to get into the zone, right? Everyone's asked about like, dude, how do you get it? How do you like get to that zone? How do you get into the mindset of just being able to produce, right? And not feel lethargic and not have to be this or that. And here's the thing, right? You get into the zone, you have to shut out everything else and control the uncontrollable. Not even control, right? Have power over. And so, you know, when you get into the zone, you feel calm but empowered at the same time, right? It's like when all your confirmations are aligned in the chart, you have an amazing risk to reward ratio. And because you set yourself up for it, you go, I'm a snipe. And you know you have all the power in the world, but there's no impatience, there's no urgency. You have what you need and you execute, right? For those of you that meditate, you know, post meditation, especially with practice, remember this isn't like you don't just meditate once and all of a sudden you feel like euphoria. It's a practice. It's actually on purpose that it's like that. And you get this peace, but it's not like yoga, it's a focus. It's kind of, I guess it kind of is like yoga. And here's the thing, once you're in this zone, right, there's no fear, there's no worry, there's no emotion. You do what you came to do and nothing can touch you. So realize that is a place you can be, right? Realize that is an energy you can tap into. And so once you're aware of that, now you can tap in. So here's the thing, right? If one thing separated, let's say, Michael Jordan from every other player, it was he had that ability to block out the entire world. And he was like ice. Nothing got to him. No matter what else was going on, crowd, media, flu, you know, his father dying. When he was on the court, he had one mission: attack and conquer. That's it. That's it. He knew what he was there to do. Everything else was irrelevant, right? Everything else was relevant. And here's something that I know this is going to allow you to push, right? You have to know exactly who you are. What do I mean by that? You are born relentless. You are taught to relent. I'm going to run that back to you one more time in case maybe it didn't hit, right? You are born relentless, but you are taught to relent. Go back to your roots, right? It's not that you're becoming something different. It's not that you're becoming someone that you're not. You're going back to who you were meant to be, right? Remember, there's all of these years where our conscious is kind of shut off because we weren't aware. But right now, it's that rebuilding. You're just remembering who you are. Exactly. So, guys, can you even remember a time when you weren't being taught limitations and compliance? You know, you were watching what everyone else was doing, scrutinizing the options. You're worrying about what other people are going to say. Do you remember that time when it wasn't like that? At some point, you stopped doing what came naturally and started doing what you were told. You know, all those desires, all those dreams, the ideas, they go away. You stuffed them down a hole where no one else could see them because we're so fixated on everybody else, right? We're so fixated on the limitations that have been imposed upon us, the compliance, the restrictions, that this is how it's supposed to be, right? The path most commonly traveled. But here's the remember, you're born relentless and you're taught to relent. So the reality is this, right? Can you be reasonably successful just by following directions and staying within the lines? Could you genuinely be reasonably successful in what you want to become by following directions and staying within the lines? that's been systematically imposed upon you. Sure. That's what everybody else does, right? But if we're talking about being elite, right? If we're talking about having the lifestyle of your dreams, if you're talking about actually becoming, right? Becoming a quantum creator, getting to the position where you can travel indefinitely, right? Duplicate wealth and wisdom on a global level, acquire wealth at will, do you think it's going to be staying between the lines? Do you think it's going to be being just relent, right? Being in that stuff? No, you can't get there, right? If you want to be unstoppable, you have to learn to put aside everything you've been taught, all the restrictions, all the limitations, all the negativity, and doubt. Right? You got that box, you got to throw it out. We're not even recycling that bitch. You just got to chuck that way the fuck over there. Don't look back. Right? Don't look back. Why? Because you have abundance. So here's what I want you to do, right? I need you to picture a lion running wild. Picture a lion running wild, right? What happens? What does a lion do? Stalks his prey, attacking and killing at will. I'm a vegan, but this is for you to understand, right? Stalks his prey, attacks and kills at will. And then it goes into search of its next conquest. That's what here's the thing, right? That's what this lion instincts tell him to do. He doesn't know anything else. Attack and conquer, attack and conquer. He's not misbehaving, right? Not misbehaving. He's not bad. He's being a lion. Now lock him up in the zoo. What is he gonna do? Just gonna chill there, chilling, lethargic, being well fed. It's good life. What happened to those powerful instincts? Where do they go? Where do they go? Oh, they're there. Deep inside, they're there. Waiting to be uncaged. So most people are lions in the cage, safe, tame, predictable, waiting for something to happen. But here's the thing. Humans, the cage isn't made of glass, right? It's not made of glass, steel bars. It's made of bad advice, right? It's made of self-esteem issues. It's made of bullshit rules that you're being tortured with, thinking about what you can't do, what you're supposed to do, what she's thinking about what you're going to do. That's the reality, guys. Your subconscious has been embedded with limitations. You've been systematically created to be tamed, right? Why do you think they want to put vaccines in you? Why do you think they want to keep you inside? Why do you think it's called television programming, right? Are you kidding me? You think they're playing the same radio songs over and over and over and over and over again to make you wiser, to make you expand your mind? No, of course not. Why do you think they're feeding you what they're feeding you? Why do you think they're putting what kind of water you think you're drinking? Wake up. Systematically, you're being tamed. Remember where we started the discussion on instinct, right? Because you're not born bad or good. Are you born bad and taught to be good? No. Deep inside of you, there's an undeniable force that's driving your actions. The part of you, right? The part of you that refuses to be ordinary, that piece stays raw and untamed. You have to learn to tap into that. It's not just instinct, right? This is killer instinct. The kind you keep in the dark, right? And eventually what happens is when you crave things you don't talk about, right? And you don't care how it comes across to others because you know this is who you are. And you wouldn't change it. Even if you could, you wouldn't change it because this is who you are. So you have to make the decision. Are you the lion in the wild or are you in the lion in the cage? What's it going to be? I ask you guys, are you intimidated by pressure, or are you going to thrive on it? Because the point of this conversation is being relentless, right? That's the point of this conversation. Being relentless. What do you do? Are you the person when this happens, right? When everyone is hitting the in case of an emergency button, are they looking for you? Right? When everyone's thinking, right, who do I call? Are you going to be that person? Because few people have the ability to adapt on the fly and make quick adjustments that will work. But this happens with experience, right? This happens when you choose to be the lion in the wild instead of the lion in the cage. Because remember, it's a decision. This is inside of you the whole time. The whole time. Some we have to dig way, 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 way deep because we've been indoctrinated to do the same thing for so long that you have to excavate, right? You have to excavate. And a lot of you are so close to tapping into that, right? You've been excavating and excavating, excavating. And then what happens is you see somebody else, right? You see somebody else tap into that lion. You see somebody else actually break through those cages, those mental prisons. And because someone got there before you did, what happens? You stop. When that's the test, that's actually the test that you have to pass to be able to tap in. Is you're getting the ultimate test, that last test where it's like, if you actually eliminate, right? You eliminate that validation, someone else's opinion, someone else's progress, and you stay on board, what happens? Now you tapped into the lion. You tapped in. You don't compete with anybody. You don't compete with anybody. There's no time for that. Because here's the thing. Here's what you have to understand. When you become the person at the top, it's on you to pull everyone else up. It's on you. Or everything you build is going to come crashing down. Right? It's on you. Why do you think I'm relentless? Right? You guys think I enjoy being the only chairman at this exact moment? Hell no. I got to keep going and going and going and going and going until everybody around me is at where they want to be. You think I keep going every single day? Because it's just I want to be back in the cage? Hell no. I want to make sure Nancy's broken out of that cage. John's broken out of that cage. Kevin's broken out of that cage. Ari's broken out of that cage. Hunter's broken out of that cage. I want to make sure everybody's breaking out of that cage, because guess what? When you're at the top, it's your moral responsibility to break everyone through and pull them up. But have you mentally decided, have you made the decision to be that person? Because if you can't be that person, then don't bother getting to the top, because you're never going to get there. Don't even get on the ladder. Because even if you keep going up a little bit, but you haven't made the decision that you're going to be the person that pulls them up, when you do get up there, you're going to fall. You can't hold that because you don't have an actual moral foundation. Y'all think it's not easy. We're not here to talk about that, right? I'm giving you the insight. I'm being relentless. I'm being relentless because if you're not, your success may come. Don't get me wrong. Your success may come, but it's definitely not at the rate that you want it. It's not. It's just genuinely not. It's going to be a constant struggle between I want to be successful right now, but I haven't made that decision. Because guys, the only way you can light other people on fucking fire is to be lit yourself. From the inside, professional, cool, focused. If you had a bad night, you can't show up the next day, right, ready to go. You just can't show up at all. And that doesn't affect you, it affects everybody else. That's what we say. You have to feel without becoming, because you have to be conscious of the energy that you're emitting around other people. Because if what the energy you're emitting is negatively impacting other people, then now we're no longer a leader, right? These are the responsibilities that come with it. Trust, right? Why we call it building? Because we're building character. Or building people. And by consequence, yes, it'll drive volume. So guys, with that being said, let me rephrase that. I get to go teach right now in Spanish for our IM students. So guys, with that being said, right, you make decisions, not suggestions. You know the answer while everyone else is still asking questions. So Cody, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me on. Guys, have an amazing rest of your night.
Oh my goodness. Family, drop some 888s in the chat if that was nothing but fire from El Mago himself, for real. Oh my goodness. My mind is blown. Sheesh. Okay, this is going to be on YouTube real quick. I want everybody right now to drop your biggest gem from Mago in the QC chat. With that, guys, I want you guys all to kill it this week. Wake up every day with intention and kill it. Kill it, kill it, kill it. Who are you gonna be this week? Like Mago said, you're gonna be the lion in the wild, or you're gonna be the lion in the cage. Let's go, family. I love you guys. Let's kill it this week. Sheesh.